Oh, who's the host?
Let me just assign you host.
Okay, you start.
Okay.
Thank you, Nick. Yeah, it was Howie's design.
It was Athena's design. Thank you so much, Athena.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we'll get started. So, welcome, guys. Thank you, guys, for coming to our branding and marketing workshop. Today, obviously, you guys will be learning more about how to brand your startup and how to market your products.
Yeah, so the reason why we really wanted to deliver this workshop was mostly for you guys, because we all know that you guys are doing your own ventures, your own startups. So we really thought this would be a valuable resource for you guys, because we know that in the long run, any startup is basically built up of relevance and your reputation. So that's sort of what will bring you in the long run successfully. So that's sort of what we hope to target this workshop, and yeah.
So today, the key takeaways you'll get out of this workshop is know the difference between branding and marketing, understand what branding is and how it applies to startups, understand what marketing is and how it applies to startups, and apply your understanding of branding and marketing after this workshop to an activity. So today, instead of doing this, we're just going to have you guys shout out what you guys think are the differences between branding and marketing. So when you think of branding, what are some words that pop into your head when you think of it? You can put it into the chat. Or you can just tell me right now.
The idea, like I think of like the idea, like the mental image of the like a company.
I see branding as something that makes your product, like making it, like differentiating it, and like making it seem like it's something that's different, like on its, like its own brand, like its own unique thing. And then marketing is kind of how you try promoting that certain brand you have. I guess that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That's a valid point. How about the rest of you guys? What do you think? If you're too shy to say it, you guys can always type it into the chat.
Sort of like what it represents, like what this brand stands for, almost like Nike with their swoosh.
Yeah, I see that you guys have a lot of in the chat, like recognition, image, logos. That's pretty much what you guys are going to see later on in our presentation. So you guys are pretty much spot on in that sense.
And then when you think of marketing, what comes to your mind when you think of marketing? You can also put it into the chat, or you can say it. Yeah, getting the name out there, right? So branding is pretty much who you are, right? And then marketing is like getting your name out there into the public. How about the rest of you guys? What do you guys think? Yeah, promotion and publicity, that's a big one too.
It's like, I don't know, like getting people like informed of your company and your product, like that it exists.
For sure. Yeah, making the product known to consumers, right? Whether you have a good product or bad product, having knowing how to market your product to the public is really important. If you have a really good product, that's not the end thing. You have to make sure you market it out really well. You can also market a bad product and make it successful too. Yeah, getting people familiar with your company and product, right? Okay, yeah, you guys already have a lot of knowledge with what branding is and what marketing is. So as you can see here, these are the differences between branding and marketing, and then some of the similarities between the two. So as you can see, like branding is pretty much like your identity, right? Your voice, your name, your logo, fonts, colors, your promises, what you're trying to give to your consumers, right? And then marketing is how you give it, right? Sales calls, leads, inbounds, outbounds, advertising, offers, right? And obviously they both have some similarities between them too. I would say like branding is like a subset of marketing, right? They both of them go hand in hand with each other. Yeah, you guys know a lot about branding marketing already. That's really good. And here you can kind of see like a more of an example of what the differences are between the two. As you can see, marketing is like saying, I am a really cool dude. And branding is coming from the other person saying, I know you're a cool dude, right? So basically branding is like basically saying like telling others that they already know who you are and what you want others to see you. Okay, now we're gonna move on to specifically to branding, hosted by yours truly. Okay, so I want you guys to name these brands. Like, just shout out if you guys know what these are. I want you guys to all unmute your mics. I want to hear you guys.
Goldfish.
McDonald's,
Target,
Um,
Wendy's, Starbucks.
Wendy's.
Apple, Target, Starbucks, Goldfish, Wendy's.
Yeah, exactly.
Too easy for you guys.
Easy, I know, right? Okay, so when you think of Apple, what comes to mind? Like for me, I think of luxury, modern, innovative. How about you guys?
Popular.
Popular? Yeah. What
Cult
else?
following.
Huh? What is it?
Cult following.
Yeah. Just letting you know, if you guys, some of you guys who are not speaking, I'm gonna call on you guys. I want to speak like a group conversation here. Okay. But yeah, you guys. Then how about Target? What do you guys think of Target? When you what are some words you think of when you think of Target?
Invasive.
Supply chain.
Okay. And then I just want to know if you guys know this, but what's the phrase that you think of when you think of goldfish?
Delicious.
The
Snack
That smiles back.
yeah, exactly. The snack that smiles back, right? Everyone or most of you guys know what that is, right? You guys heard that so many times through their commercials and
I
on
actually
their.
haven't.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. It's also on their bag. It says the snack that smiles back right below goldfish. So yeah. So what is branding? Branding is the process of creating a strong identity and perception of your business and its products in your customer's mind. And so you want to let others know this is what I am and why I exist. Are you the type of person who identifies with that? Usually branding consists of like a name, symbol, slogan, or like a voice and tone, and design that is clearly identifiable as belonging to you. It has to be distinguishable from others so people know this is your product, this is your startup, right? So essentially, it's the business's identity and appearance where customers can easily look at your business and say, oh, this is Apple, this is Goldfish, this is Target. And to give you guys a clear understanding of what branding is, we can look at a branding scenario so we can fully understand how branding works. And so then this scenario, the setting is a college career fair. And here you see Jenny, a student named Jenny, coming to the career fair. She's in a suit. She has a resume in her hand. She looks very ready to talk to recruiters. She has a bright smile on, and yeah, she's just ready. And remember, the recruiters don't know her yet, so this is her one-time shot to tell them all about herself, right? Here, she stumbles upon this company's booth called Zero2One. She remembers that Zero2One is a community of impactful ventures. She's interested in pursuing her own ventures and would love to have constant support from peers and professionals, and gain a lot of resources from Zero2One. So she decides to talk to the recruiters. Here you see Jenny talking to the recruiter. How will she brand herself, right? Just based on her appearance, you can see that she's really well dressed. She's super happy, and she has a resume in her hand, and she probably has like papers to take notes, right? And the recruiter, I guess that's me, the recruiter says, tell me about yourself. What do you do? And what do you want from us? And then Jenny says, hi, my name is Jenny Lee. It's so nice to meet you. I think Jenny's an accounting major. So Jenny, I'm an accounting major from the Keys College of Business, and I'm interested in joining your spring 2020 cohort as a possible venture director, where I can utilize my communication skills, my interpersonal skills, and solid quantitative abilities to apply to all these things. And last summer, I entered at 1-0 as a marketing analyst in the marketing committee. And I have various experiences in other organizations I'm a part of on campus. And I really want to be part of Zero2One. Yeah, that's her whole like pitch right there. So from this conversation, we know that Jenny is a sophomore. She's an accounting major. She has various skills like interpersonal skills, communication skills. She's an active student on campus, and she has previous professional work experience with 1-0. So hopefully she gets the offer. So you're wondering, like, how does this scenario relate to branding for a startup? For a startup to function, they all need to have a clear, solid brand, their own identity, their own personality. And that is crucial for customers or any outsiders, essentially, to completely understand who you are, what you do, and why you do it. And just like the recruiter, customers in the world of business, they want to know who you are so they can evaluate if it's worth their time to invest in it. And again, just like talking to a recruiter at a career fair, your time to brand your startup is limited. You have to be straight to the point and relatively fast. You don't want to lose your customers' attention or waste their time. So now you guys know what branding is, kind of. So let's talk about what makes a strong brand. So first off, you need to find your purpose in influencing your business. It is important to know your overall goal with your startup and what you're trying to get to your customers. And once that is figured out, you need to think of a brand personality, something that matches your ideal customer's persona. This includes like your overall image and message, your voice and tone. Your customer must like see a part of yourself, a part of themselves in your brand. Like for example, with Apple and Android. Some users prefer Apple and some prefer Android, right? There's a clear distinction between the two products functionalities, right? So there might be a lot of other businesses that are similar to yours. So you must provide your customer with a unique experience different from others. And then lastly, you need to have a fleshed out visual elements. And this entails having like a memorable logo, typography, color palette, and graphics. And remember, the best logos are simple and memorable, and they're appropriate to your brand. And to start off, if you don't know where to start with your brand personality, think of a few traits that would associate with your business. You can use this picture as like a reference, right? Like, do you want your startup to be reliable? Do you want it to be friendly, versatile, I don't know, playful? So yeah, just think of those. Just try to think of like a few words that you want to have your startup resonate with. Okay, so first I want to talk about logo design. So logo design consists of colors, shapes, and fonts. And just to have a disclaimer, remember that branding is not just about a logo, right? A brand is a promise that you make and continue to make about your service or product. And that is consistent with over time. Okay, here. So what do you guys see here? Tell me what you see. You can put it into the chat or you can talk to me. What do you guys see?
Red
Red?
and food.
Food, yes. What else? Let me look at the chat. Shoot. Yeah, yellow, bubbly. So yeah, this is like not a coincidence. This was all like a strategic plan made by each of these fast food restaurants, right? As you can see, like colors are very important when it comes to branding. So what do colors really mean when it comes to branding? So as you can see, that each color represents something. Each color emotes different kind of emotion, some kind of mood, right? You can see that colors play a big role in conveying your business's identity. You can see that certain colors have like different kinds of moods, right? Like red means exciting, yellow is like optimistic, green is peaceful. And to continue, here are some examples of like certain companies with their signature colors. So before choosing a color, you need to realize what kind of image you want to put forward to the general public. Is your business exciting, dependable, or creative, friendly? You need to understand how you want to target your customers, right?
Oh, good question.
Yeah.
What color is Apple?
Apple is like black and white. I think that's different. I think they just want it to be more monochromatic. So it goes alongside with like them being clean and simple and sleek. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, what do you guys see here? When you see this picture, like what comes to mind?
Olympics.
Olympics, right? What else? I think of like unity, right? What else? Is it in the chat? Let me check.
Like coming together despite like differences.
Yeah, coming together despite differences. Patriotism, right? Yeah, so the next thing is shapes. So let's look into the psychology of shapes and design. Most commonly used shapes are like triangles, squares, circles, organics. I'll also in more of the meaning behind some of the shapes. So like for example, like triangles stand out due to their like
I can't hear you properly. I'm not sure if it's on your end or mine. Yeah.
Hello, can you still hear me? Hello?
Barely hear you.
Really? Can you still hear me? No? Hello, can you still hear me now or no? Better?
That was good.
It's
Yeah.
better, yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Just let me know if I cut out again or something. So yeah, going to shapes into branding. For example, like triangles, they stand out due to their straight lines and sharp angles. They usually represent like power or energy, right? It is widely used in fields like science and religion. Companies like Delta Airlines or Caterpillar used triangular logos, right? So as you can see, like shapes play a big role in how you want to design your logo. And moving forward, last component of a logo is fonts. Just like the other elements, typography is important in your overall brand. The perfect brand fonts should be unique and memorable, just like how your entire logo should be. It should be legible. It should also work on every platform that you use. And you should always communicate. It should always communicate with your brand personality. And here you can see like how logos change over time. As you can see, look at Apple. Like I don't even know what that is from the beginning, but now it's like a lot more simple and more monochromatic, right? Same goes with Instagram. It became more simple and more memorable to look at. And they stand out more, right? If you look at like the most recent Instagram logo, that's like easily memorable to look at, right? So I am no expert in design at all, so I can't give you quality help and advice in creating your most ideal visual elements, but I can at least help lead you to some resources that I know of, like Figma, Fiverr, or any of the Adobe tools. And if those don't work, you can always network with us or Google. Google will always be there to help you if you need help. So yeah. The next part for a good branding, strong branding is using persuasive techniques. Thanks to Aristotle, we have ethos, pathos, and logos, right? I'm pretty sure you guys know what ethos, pathos, logos are, right? Ethos is appeal to, what is it? Okay, anyways, you guys know what ethos, pathos, logos is, right? Credibility, emotions, and logic, right? So those should always guide you in how you want to brand your startup, right? How you want to convince others. One really good strategy is using emotional marketing. Emotional marketing means tapping into and like manipulating emotions that people feel, like happy or sad or angry or disgusted, frightened or surprised, right? Remember, at the end of the day, people won't remember what you did or what you said, but how you made them feel. So using like love, something inspirational, aspirational will always tug people's heartstrings. So yeah, consumers are generally like moved by emotion rather than rationality. And so emotions are usually like they're like the precursor, and then logic follows. That makes sense. Here, I want to talk about loci bracelet. Have you guys heard of loci bracelets before? So this is a really good example of using emotional marketing, right? So loci bracelet is this plastic bracelet that you see on the left, right? And if you see here, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, but the white thing, it holds water from Mount Everest, the highest point on Earth. And the black circle right here is from the mud from the Dead Sea, which is the lowest point on Earth. And when you wear this bracelet, it's a reminder to find balance, to find peace. So their whole like slogan is like, if you reach your top, stay humble. And if you hit your low, stay hopeful. So a lot of people wanted to buy this bracelet, right? I think it's like 18 bucks for this plastic right here, right? And the way they branded themselves, how you're able to find your inner peace, your balance, really worked, right? As a middle schooler, I really wanted this bracelet too. Like I really wanted to wear this bracelet so I can have like a reminder that I'll always find my balance, even if I'm at my lowest or if I'm at my highest, right? So this is a really good example of using emotional marketing to really pull people in to buy your products and really to understand like what this bracelet is. Everyone knows, or a lot of people who know about loci bracelets know like it's a bracelet about balance, right? The next thing I want to talk about for branding is voice and tone. Just like creating like visual guidelines for your logo, colors, and typography, your brand system needs emotional guidelines, how your brand treats people in written and spoken words. So that's where voice and tone comes in, right? Your voice is like how your company's personality, how you describe your company's personality, and your tone is like the emotional inflection applied to your voice and how you adjust it to certain demographics, right? Your tone changes depending if you're talking to a teenager or talking to an elder. Here is an example of a memorable voice and tone. So I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but Wendy's about like last year ago, they went on like a big like Twitter campaign where they like roasted people who roasted Wendy's, and they also roasted other fast food restaurants. And here you can see someone said, "LOL, Wendy's is petty," and then Wendy's replied saying, "You guys keep forgetting the R. It is spelled pretty. Also, thank you." So as you can see here, that's very memorable, right? And it's fit for their platform, which is Twitter, right? And obviously, I don't think anyone can forget this. And because of this Twitter campaign that they did, I think they gained a lot more traction through Wendy's, yeah. And the next thing I want to talk about is purpose and influence. Great brands have purpose. They make promises, and they keep them. And as a result, they influence many customers. Yeah. So like, crappy brands float around without any point or purpose. They don't really influence anyone. So you got to make sure you guys find your purpose and influence within your startup. So ask yourself, like, what's the special thing that only you can do that your customers will miss out on if you never existed, right? Faulty startups usually go straight into like marketing and creating a business model without really understanding their own point and purpose of their product. And for example, like Zero2One's purpose is to create this community of student entrepreneurs collectively starting their own ventures, right? And there are supporters that help support you guys. That's what we do. That's our promise and influence to you guys. And here is an example of strong branding by Nike and Apple. So what is Nike's slogan? Can you guys just tell me? It should be very simple.
The check mark, just do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, just do it, right? And how about Apple? I don't know if many people know it, but it's think different, right? That's their slogan. So both of these brands, they use emotional marketing and they stick with their purpose and influence. And everything about what they do is an example of strong branding, right? As you can see with Nike, they don't really talk about their shoes. They don't really talk about their like clothes, right? They celebrate athletes and their athleticism and just talking about just doing it, right? A lot of their commercials are just people reaching new heights, trying to accomplish new things, and that's what Nike commercials are about. The main point of these kind of commercials is that they evoke some kind of feeling, right? Again, like at the end of the day, it's not what you said or what you did, but how you make people feel, right? Same with Apple. They always talk about creativity, always pushing to new heights as well, and not necessarily about their devices or their how strong their processes are, right? Even when they have like product commercials, it's with people. It shows like
Your voice is cutting out.
Yeah, your voice just went away.
you guys hear me now?
Sorry,
Um,
we can't hear you. Or
Hello?
I can't hear
Now?
at least.
Can you hear me now?
yeah, that's
Much
better.
better.
I'm so sorry about that. I don't know where I left off, but I'll restart with Apple. So like as you can see with Apple, they never really show their products. Even if they do, it's with other people. It just shows that anyone can have these products too, right? And usually in their commercials, they talk about creativity. They talk about people. They always show people. As you can see here, this woman is like moving to make like opening new doors, right? Showing that they can open up new doors, new creative moments, right? Again, this goes alongside with their own slogan, "Think Different," right? Yeah. So a recap with branding. Just remember, branding is vital, and then discover your business's purpose and identity, and always live your brand story. Always be consistent with what you put out there, right? And also, you got to flesh out your brand personality. You got to keep in mind, like, what are you trying to make? What kind of image do you want for your brand? Do you want to be reliable, trustworthy, fun, I don't know, crazy, right? And once you figure all this out, you can go ahead and start designing.
Yay, we got to the good part now. So now I'm just going to talk a little bit about marketing. So for marketing, you guys pretty much covered what marketing is basically about. So I saw some of your chats, and some words that were really good that stuck out to me were recognition, purpose. Yeah, just making your product known to people is generally what marketing is. Marketing is basically how you would create value and an image for your business. So something I really wanted to ask you guys was, why do you guys think marketing is important? Just if you guys have any ideas, you can just feel free to shout it out or type in the chat. So like, what makes you think that marketing is such a vital component of any startup or business? Yes, customer awareness, that's definitely one thing. Yes, yeah. Creating demand for your product is another thing. These are really good ideas, actually. So something that I feel that is really important about marketing, as any business would emphasize, is the fact that it's important for a business to engage its customers. Marketing is a tool that keeps the conversation going. It always keeps your customers near and dear close to you, so that's something that really creates some valuable connections. The growth and the lifespan of your business is really positively correlated to your overall business's reputation. So it's really fair to say that your reputation truly determines your brand ultimately. Another reason is that marketing actually really provides some insight into your business and how it's going. Just the health of your business, what keeps it running, just the back ends, the behind the scenes of how your business is functioning. So that's essentially what marketing is, and you guys were pretty spot on with that. So I guess we're gonna go into more of the more technical details of marketing in the next slide. So for this, in the slide, I basically showed some of the key components of marketing. Just remember the 4 Ps: product, price, promotion, and place. By remembering these things, it's really it'll be really helpful when you're considering how you're going to market yourself out to the public. So so why should you rely on these mechanisms? You might wonder. Well, first off, the mechanisms actually serve as a really reliable link between your business and society. So it'll really cultivate your just the public's mind and really educate how your product is, and really convince them how to sell your product. You really want to generate that sense of trust with your customer and your target audience. So that's another thing that marketing does for you. It creates revenue options for you. I mean, that's something that's different from what you're trying to do, is just create an image. But ultimately, in the end, it's sort of what marketing is. You're creating that revenue option for yourself. Having these options will really give you the courage and, I guess, the determination to penetrate new markets, to really enter those new markets. So that's really what marketing is, and how you can really use it to its maximum potential. So next, I'll probably talk about the types of marketing that people most commonly use. And in that slide, Howie, in that slide, I just sort of touch on the 4 common types of marketing, but there's a lot out there. This is just a really general overview of everything. Email marketing, conversational marketing, relationship, and keyword. Do you guys have any ideas of what these marketing, like how it functions, how they really reach out to people? Do you guys have any ideas? You can just type in the chat if you guys don't feel like saying anything.
Some of them just like cold call people almost.
Yeah, that's another way that marketing really functions. Some companies utilize that a lot, and it can be really unexpected. So that's a really good point. Any more? Yes, social media. That's a really common tactic. Yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much have it. Besides those 4 types of marketing, I sort of want to touch on what you guys can potentially use in the future. So the next one I would say is digital marketing. Thank you. So for this slide, I really want to talk about digital marketing, because nowadays digital and social media is such a common part of our daily lives. So this is something that I really wanted to touch upon. What is digital marketing? You would say is digital marketing is basically sort of what encompasses all marketing efforts that use any sort of electronic device, or I would say the internet. Businesses really utilize and leverage this digital channel, such as search engines, social media, email, and many other websites actually, to connect with current and prospective customers for the future. Digital content and marketing is so common nowadays that consumers like us, can sort of now really expect and rely on digital marketing as a way to be more informed about other people's brands. So this is something to keep in mind if you guys ever are wanting to launch a startup or your initiative. Just keep in mind that digital marketing is going to be very useful in the long run. The next marketing initiative I wanted to touch upon is evangelism. I actually did not know what evangelism was until I started doing research upon it. Do you guys have any idea about what evangelism is? It's a really interesting term, but do you guys have any good ideas about what it is? I mean, because I didn't, but
Like diehard fans of your product and like spread the word of it.
yes. the second part was especially spot on, spreading the word of it. Just from these images, you really see sort of how evangelism utilizes communication a lot. It's word of mouth, essentially. So I was saying that the most important aspect of any evangelist marketing initiative is to really establish a connection with customers. That's how usually people get door to door, door to mouth, word to word. So the best way to really get anyone to talk about your brand or business is to really start the conversation, the dialogue themselves. The information that usually comes out of these conversations can really be used to create more useful content, more useful products and services. So I'd say that evangelism is another really common marketing tactic that we possibly don't know the name of, but it's something that we've been using for a really long time. The next marketing tactic I see very often is called guerrilla marketing. I didn't know there was a term for this, but I only recently found out. Do you guys have any ideas of what this one is about, just from the pictures maybe?
Art?
Oh, what was that?
Art.
Oh, art, yeah. That is one way of using guerrilla marketing. That's a good idea, yeah. Art is one idea. Any other ideas? Oh, I see physical environment. Yeah, that's another really good point. Physical environment is something we always interact with, so it definitely catches people's attention, yeah. Yes, unconventional. It's even the name itself is very unconventional. When you think of guerrilla, what do you guys usually think of? Do you guys
Isn't
know
it
any
like
backstories?
isn't it like unpredictable, or at least guerrilla warfare is when you attack the enemy and then you leave them and then you attack them again when they least expect it?
Yeah, that's essentially what guerrilla is. Guerrilla warfare, you've probably heard of those terms in your history classes. Yeah, so when you hear the word guerrilla, usually in its written form, it comes off very intense. Usually when you think of that word, it probably would conjure an image of rebellion and maybe conflict, I guess. But putting it next to the word marketing, it might make you ask, like why would they put it next to marketing? That doesn't make sense. But guerrilla marketing isn't some sort of combative form of communication. In fact, it's actually a very unconventional form of marketing, like you guys said, unconventional. Because it's so unconventional and it's so interesting in its own form, in that sense, it really raises brand awareness among large audiences because you're in a physical environment, you engage with it. So many people are out in the public. So yeah, it definitely is utilized greatly in our public society. But the most important thing about it is that it doesn't disrupt daily activities. Usually it's just there, like a bench or chair. Usually you just walk by it. It doesn't interfere with any part of your day. So it's sort of in that sense very inconspicuous, but also there as a way to really engage your audience. So the next thing I sort of wanted to cover was marketing yourself and how yourself. Those are just some jobs I wrote down. Pick a niche, write it, maybe write more about your brand, maybe write a blog or something along those lines. Get quoted from an expert, maybe somebody who's relevant, who's somebody who you know would be a great connection. Utilize them to
Did she cut out?
I think she cut out.
Oh.
Shoot. Okay, I can take over for her for now. Yeah, basically.
Oh, I'm back.
Never mind. Hello.
Okay, sorry. I don't know what happened with my internet. I just dropped out. Okay. Where did I leave off?
You were still talking about the list of ways to market yourself.
Oh, okay. I think I was on the utilizing emails part. Yeah, so you sort of just use emails to as a way to connect with people. If you haven't connected with them in a while, you would just reach out with an email or maybe even a cold call. On the media platforms, for sure, you guys definitely know that. Social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, all that sort of stuff. So that's sort of some of my tips for marketing yourself in the future. Okay, so the next thing that's really important is traction. Do you guys have any idea what traction is?
Like building momentum and keeping
Yes, momentum. Yeah,
momentum.
that's a really strong word. I like that. I really like that. Any more ideas?
Like direction.
Yeah, direction. That's another really good term for traction, actually. When you think of traction, sometimes I think of physics for some reason. Traction is really a good way to build up force in anything. So why is this important? Why is this important to your startup? You might think. So early traction really refers to your first wave of users. So you're really trying to grab their attention to utilize your product or gain any interest in your product. So those early adopters are actually really crucial to any sort of startup. The reason is that although those early users might not have heard anything about your product, they still will give you your precious time. That time is important to get to know you, to get to know your brand. So that means that they saw value in your product, ultimately, a solution to their product, to their problem, sorry. Those people are the ones who you probably will most likely be your first, I'd say, ambassadors. They'd probably be the ones to first start off with being a part of your company or just taking a part of your startup, something along those lines. But they're going to be the ones who probably will, in the long run, bring their friends with them to try out what your brand brings to them. So that's basically what traction is. It's something that is very important to any sort of startup or initiative. So you might ask, how do you gain this traction? So to gain this traction where everyone in this world wants to be maybe a billionaire or a millionaire, not many give much thought, I'd say, to how they could possibly earn them a qualitative first wave of users. So how do they get those people? It's always quality over quantity, I'd say. You shouldn't always focus about the numbers. You have to first focus about the quality that your product or service brings, or else no one will come and those quantitative measures won't even be relevant in the future. So what are the main factors of getting that first wave of users inside? Do any of you guys have any ideas of or examples of any sort of company that brings value to their users?
Maybe
Do you
like,
guys have any ideas?
okay, maybe like you can start in the like where in like in the location where you're located. For example, like when Facebook started, like it started with all the like students of the University of like Harvard. No?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, definitely that was something that really was a great startup that started with college students, like you said. So I'd say that definitely what are the main factors of getting that first wave of users? Going back to that point is that your product will ultimately solve a problem that a certain set of people face. An example would be Uber. It saves time. It saves the time travel to your destination. Another one I'd say would be Airbnb. That finds you a nice, cheap place to live at for the day. So those are just some of my ideas. What really are some startups or companies that really have been able to gain that sort of traction through providing a really unique solution to everyday problems. Another way to gain that traction is really to have an amazing story that comes along with along with your startup that people can relate to. It has to do more with the language that you use and how you present yourself to the public. So that's definitely some major factors of gaining traction ultimately. Okay. So now we have our activity, Howie.
So yeah, now you guys know about branding and marketing, and now we want you guys to apply your knowledge to an activity that we have. So imagine that you have a team, and you and your team just created a product called Pet Rock, right? That's your product, and you want to sell it to people. You need to think of a way to brand and market it so it can be sellable. So some things to keep in mind is come up with a mission statement, motivation starting it up, and its collateral impact to your market customers, right? You got to use marketing tactics to help, and you got to showcase your credibility within your product, and you got to show like how you gain traction with like just this is all like made up, right? So just think about how you will gain traction with your Pet Rock. I'm going to be assigning to brand members, so there'll be 2 groups. Okay, you guys will have about 5 minutes. Oh, we're still waiting. Okay. Alan, how's Jean's apartment?
I actually love it so much. It's great.
Come to
Very
me.
clean.
Come to me and Peter's place. We live next
I
door.
will.
We live next to each other. Yeah. Okay. So can the first group present? The first group is Aditya, Alan, Felicia, Tori, Ty, Yagna.
Okay, so our mission statement was our mission is to try to spread nature to every child around the country through customizable rocks. And our slogan was, "It's nature in your pocket."
Oh,
Ooh, that's a good one.
I would totally buy one right now.
Yeah. Okay, who else wants to speak from the group about what we came up with?
Sure. Okay. So for marketing tactics, I think there was an idea of a scavenger hunt. Obviously, it's pretty tough to hunt for rocks in any environment, but the whole ploy of this is using that problem to really showcase our rock and how different it is to any other rock there is on the ground. So we will hide rocks in like a city or something, and we'll market it, and whoever finds rock gets a small prize. And in the process, not only we accomplish 2 things. One, we gain a lot of traction and attention to people, getting people to look at our company. And number 2, we make the rock look really unique in the process.
Nice. Count me in. I want to be part of the scavenger hunt.
Okay. Right. Did anyone else from our group have anything to add?
And then I guess for most customers, I think our target market would probably be kids that, or I guess like parents as well, because they're going to usually be the ones buying things, but families that are living in apartments in the city, they don't have time to take care of a dog. They have two working parents, or you have a single mom, single dad, where just there's no chance for them to take care of a pet. And we thought that kids are creative enough to where they like, you know, treat their stuffed animals like their pets. And if you could have a, you know, rock that you make as a pet and you can take it around and it doesn't have to get all gross like the stuffed animals do, by taking it everywhere would be a plus.
That's true. That's very true. Nice. Love it. Nice. How about the next group? Hello? The next group is
Were there only two groups?
two groups. Yeah. So yeah, Anushka, Athena, Elizabeth, Jack, Marjorie, Nirvan, Nithya, Sana, and Peter.
Yeah, that's us. So we didn't really have a mission statement, but our mission was to basically provide the pet of your dreams without the heartbreak of losing your pet. So our motivation behind it was a really touching story that Peter shared about how he had a puppy that died and the loneliness was just too much for him to handle. So the way we're going to market this is for all those people who really want a pet but just cannot take the heartbreak from losing their pet. So this is basically, yeah, we give you a pet that never dies, a pet that will always be there for you. And also we give them DIY sets with the pets. So you can, or with the rocks, not the pet rocks. So you can decorate your pet, build your own pet however you like. It's going to stay with you forever. And also to, you know, get that global kind of, instill that global feeling in people. We're also going to have rocks that are exotic, so from different parts of the world. So you have the opportunity to have pets from anywhere in the world, different kinds of pets in all shapes and sizes, customize them with our DIY pet rock sets, and also you'll never have to face that loneliness. So that's our product.
Nice. Wow, those are, you guys are really creative here. Well, that's the end of our activity and our end of our workshop. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Yeah. So
Thank
the
you.
next few
Thank
things.
you guys.
Oh wait, stay for a little bit. So new members, please stay for the brainstorming session that's going to happen right after. And also we will be sending out a feedback form about our branding and marketing workshop. Please, we need good feedback so we know what to change in the future and what didn't work well or what worked well for us. And keep in mind, the next workshop is workshop 5 on finance, which is happening on Tuesday at 8 p.m. And lastly, don't forget about the member meetup. All the new zeros, you guys are required to meet one old member and one new member. If you guys can't think of an old member to meet up with, you guys can meet up with me, or you can meet up with Jenny, or Johnny, Peter, Jean. Yeah. Thank you guys for coming.
Wait, sorry, could you repeat what you said, Howie? Sorry, my apologies.
Oh yeah, for the member meetup or
member meetup, yeah.
Oh yeah, so for member meetup, I think the form is in we sent out the email to it, the link to it, but all the new zeros, you guys have to meet up with at least one old member and one new member. Yeah, so just please reach out to any of us to have like some.
Who's one new member? Like I'm confused.
Like anyone who's part of the new fall 2020 cohort.
Wait, so like us,
So like you can meet up with like Alan or Aditya or Tori.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, and like in person or like Zoom or like what?
It could be any way you want. It could be through Zoom, or if you feeling a little bit bold, you can meet in person. Anything that you want.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. I have one thing that I wanted to add to Jack's question, which was really good about Apple and their brand emotion. So I was waiting till that to say this, but so Apple's logo, it's really cool and it's developed a lot. So when their logo first came out, or their somewhat modern Apple logo, their initial one wasn't even an apple, but their first Apple logo, as we saw in the slides, it was green, yellow, orange, red, purple, and blue. And that, oh, wait, what happened?
Oh, give me a second.